blowing, storm clouds moving in. Whatever's gonna happen, it's about to begin. I remember what the drunk donkey told me when he said, son, don't fear. Mike's where the pigs lie, it's about to begin. Then he's gonna tell you about the wind and the rain. Gonna tell you which way it's going, if it's gonna be a hurricane. Don't you worry about the news that they try to hide. Just click on Mike's page, Drunk Donkey Nationwide. Well, there'll always be some haters, but they don't understand that Mike's got a friend and 100,000 more across the land. Well, if you want to know it first and you want to know it right and you want to have time to plan, Drunk Donkey Nation tells you when Mike, he's your man. Then he's gonna tell you all about the wind and the rain. Gonna tell you if it's gonna be a storm, or if it's gonna be a hurricane. Don't you worry about the news that it's trying to hide. Look on my space, Drunk Donkey Nation. Yeah, you're in my space, Drunk Donkey Nation.
All right, everybody, what's up? Good evening. Special live Wednesday night. Everybody's like, what's going on? Mike's live at Wednesday. Well, felt like I needed to. I'm starting to feel panic in the air. We've been down this road before many, many times. So I want to do a quick update. Keep our hellos for tomorrow. Hello, everybody. I know everybody's saying, hey, appreciate that. Everybody chiming in. Thanks, Will, for the screenshot. Brittany, what's up? Found me last year. That's awesome. Appreciate you watching, being part of our little family. Greg, what's up? Appreciate it, Jose. There's Miss Shelly Ross. Yep, working hard behind the scenes, getting everybody caught up. Eric got the Rays tonight. How about old Brandon Lau? But here's the deal. So we're seeing this cone. I'm just going to go right into it. There's a different level of anxiety right now that I feel because of this system, because it's pointing straight at the southeast Florida, especially. We saw this with Dorian. Our record chat was watching Dorian. As much confidence in the models were of a turn, it was still panic. So I can only imagine when this thing becomes a major hurricane this weekend, there's going to be panic in the air because they're going to see a major hurricane. It's going to look like it's going right to the southeast, Bahamas, Florida, southeast. So I'm going to show you all the latest models and, just take a deep breath. This thing is a week plus away before we know anything. So that's the good news. Caribbean's looking pretty good right now. We're seeing good consistency on this west-northwest, northwest track. I was a little surprised at the 5-day cone. They kind of opened up the cone a little bit at the end, meaning a little more. I'm really surprised, honestly, that they did this part right here. I would have thought they would have kept the cone tighter, but I don't really see much on that possibility. But hey, 5-day cone, man. They're just kind of letting everybody know that anything can happen in 5 days. This thing's slowing down a little bit. So weather patterns change longer you go out in time. So, but the one thing we rely on are spaghetti models. We love spaghetti models. We love looking at trends. And today's trends really aren't any more than what they were this morning. We're still looking at a turn north. Bermuda really watching East Coast. I'm reading between the lines, listening to some meteorologists, and They're all kind of letting everybody know the same thing. Hey, nothing's set in stone on this thing. Normally, you get a sense of everybody's confident that this thing is going to do what it's supposed to do. There's some steering, upper level winds coming a week plus that are not certain. And anytime you get high pressures and low pressures, this slowing down, things can happen. We saw it with Sandy. We saw it with Irma. It shifted a little bit more west. Not using Irma as an example for Florida, just saying that initial spaghetti models are wrong a lot because upper level winds change. We haven't had a long track system like this in a long time too, so this is a little different. We haven't, a lot of y'all might be new to tracking storms, but usually, like Michael, for example, 3 days. That was from Yucatan to Panhandle. Ida last year, 3 days. Yeah, Ian, 3 days. So we really haven't had one of these long track storms. So they definitely play with your mind because it's like, and with social media right now, there's so much stuff. Everybody's on TikTok, spreading, oh my God, it's coming to Florida. Oh my God. So you can get overwhelmed with all the hype. So the main advice at this point is this 5-day track is pretty solid. They started to warn people that their day 4, day 5 parts even have 90 miles plus, error range. So anything past 5 days is speculation. So if you're one to worry, don't go past this cone. And then I know there's a big question mark here. Then like, oh my God, it's going straight, but it doesn't look like it. So let me show you all the latest. I got some other stuff. Don't leave. I got some really good information I want to show you on track model performance from Idalia and how that equates to a site that I haven't even used this year that I have linked that I really want to share. I don't know why I haven't used it yet this year, but we're going to use it here in a second. But what I want to do is jump right into the latest model. So let's go first and foremost, look at spaghetti models for ensembles. So here's your latest European ensembles. All right. Now, these only go out 10 days. The question mark is this. This is the big point I want to make. The end point of 10 days, let's say the average is here. What happens after 10 days? So this is where it gets tricky because just because it looks like it's going north and it's it's bending, this system slows down a little bit. And if you notice, the latest Euro kind of does a little west before the north. What does it do after 10 days? And that's what everybody stresses. It's very low confidence. But this thing is only going to be right here in 10 days. I mean, we got a law, we got Bermuda somewhere in this mess of spaghetti. So 10 days, it could be somewhere right here. Now, obviously, these are speeding up. So these are really going fast. But the majority is somewhere. And as a matter of fact, the black line is your mean. That's your average. And your average is right here in 10 days. That is what's tricky. So, it would be irresponsible for anybody to say it's going to be a fish storm at this point. First off, with Bermuda in the tracks. But secondly, nobody knows what's going to happen in 10 days. Bottom line. These are painful to watch. 10 days, it'll be sitting right here. So much can change in 10 days. That's why everybody's stressing you got to watch it. Good news for Florida, good news for Bahamas. Most of the spaghetti is turning. So that's good. This is your latest Euro. I just want to point out these are 240 markers. These are 240 hours out, and there's a lot of them, down in this neck of the woods, meaning in 10 days this thing's going to be sitting here. So much can happen in 10 days. And we're starting to see signs because it's slowing down. Remember we were talking about this frontal line? There was supposed to be a front coming down. This was pulling up, picking it up. Well, now that this thing is slowed down, the frontal line might be weakening, and we might get a high pressure building back in, which means that it might not have anywhere to go except slow down, maybe west. Maybe. Latest European. This is on weathernerds.org, by the way. Here's the latest GFS ensembles. Notice it's a little faster. Not a great model. It's ending 10 days right here. Majority of them are going up towards Nova Scotia, but we have a few ensembles obviously here, but GFS is terrible, so I'm not even going to show it anymore. Main spaghetti models 18Zs just came out on Tropical Tidbits, and you can see these go out 7 days. And tropicaltidbits.com, and you can see most of them somewhere right here in 5 days, and then most of them around here on 7 days. So, you know, it's a slow mover. 5 days from now, but you can also see that they're really starting to show a bend north. So that's confidence right there. Good confidence. So the point of tonight's video is to say that, hey, not a lot has changed in the ensembles. The big change today is the system slowing down a little bit, meaning that some of these upper air systems that it was planning on catching up to might be changing, and I'm going to show you all that here in a second. But there you go. Latest spaghetti models there. Looks great, right? Good consistency. Here's Bermuda. They're watching. And it is going to be a strong hurricane. Some of them had it under 900 millibar. The latest HFAS, I believe it was the HAFS, had it dropping to 9. I had to sneeze. This is 913 on the latest 911. 909. That is Cat 5 monster. I think earlier it had it down even lower, but that is unbelievable. People are going to see that, and they are going to go into full panic mode. Look at how this thing gets bigger. So here's today. Watch the growth. This is going to be a huge system. Be a lot of waves. Some argue the bigger the system, the harder it is to turn, too. We'll see about that, but big system before it turns. So there's that. Big system expected. Let's take a look at the parent version here, just to kind of see it too. And this is kind of what it looks like as it expands the wind field down to 914. And I'll tell you what, this is what's going to get people really freaked out. So I'm hoping this is where we trust the models, because I saw with Dorian, people did not see how this thing could stop. And we're going to see this model do that, and it looks like it's getting closer to Florida, right, in the southeast here. It's all about waiting on that turn, man, and it's been a lot of storms like that. But look, I'm more interested in how big that thing got overall size. Incredible. All right, so let's look at some individual model runs. Go over the latest Euro and show you that. Not seeing signs of that system I showed earlier. It doesn't mean it's not going to be there. That's what happens. They come, they go. They come, they go. We're just going to focus on Lee right now. At least it's Lee. Hey, at least I don't pronounce that name wrong, right? We didn't have to go check out the pronunciation for Lee. All right, so here's the Euro, and it's got the turn. It's going west of Bermuda. This would be next Wednesday right here. This thing's still going to be going west-northwest next Wednesday. 7 days of painfully watching a major hurricane heading west-northwest. There's a turn. Until it happens, people are going to breathe a little easier. But then what happens after that? Let's go into that here in a second. So there's the latest Euro west of Bermuda. Latest Canadian. A little closer to Bermuda. Latest GFS, just showing it because everybody loves the GFS. And 12Z is here. And there's your latest GFS. Turning next Wednesday. Then it does whatever. So, latest Icon. This is next Monday. We go to the 12Z. Here you go. Icon showing that turn about Wednesday. So right now they're all showing that turn about Wednesday. It's all about the turn, all about the base, all about the base. But the question on everybody's minds is this. I've not heard more, which is great, because I remember when Florence came out, everybody was calling it a fish storm, and guess what? We all know the rest was history on that. But I am seeing a lot of Mets talking about this. Don't turn your back on this thing in 10 days. So here's what the euro is showing in 10 days. We got a bunch of steering mechanisms happening. So whatever Invest 96 does, it's going to be, this is Invest 96, this orange system right here. Right here, this is Invest 96. This looks like Franklin and Idalia, but could be an influencer. We're going to start to get some high pressure winds lifting our system to the north, allowing our system to pull north. But at 10 days, this is where it gets tricky, and this is what I posted earlier, that this frontal line that was expected to originally pick it up and move it on out of here fast has now weakened. And we might be in trouble a little bit. I mean, I don't want to go past that, but if this thing gets a blocking high pressure system all around it and building, between 96, then, steering currents could get tricky. So that is the big question mark, is going to be this frontal line, and this timing is, remember the turn is Wednesday-ish. It's like a Bush commercial. Ish. And then this would be next Saturday. Not this Saturday, the following Saturday. So what we've seen in 3 days has been a gradual shift to the west. What will we see in 3 days from now? I don't know. Point of this whole video is don't panic. I was thinking, what am I going to talk about, right? We have not had a long track hurricane to track in a long time. And I remember the emotions on a long track hurricane are very stressful. 3 days out, 3 days out. You're in go mode, right? This is like a week, 10 days out. We could still be watching this thing. That's a lot of TikToks. So that's what we're watching. I'm going to show you some 15-day ensembles next, but that's going to be the curiosity right there. Now, when we look back in time, let's go back a model or so run. Let's go back to the 00Z. This was, a day and a half ago. Let's go even further in time. Let's go back to the 4th. All right. So blues are low pressure. Oranges are basically high pressure anomalies. It kind of gives you an idea of the upper level atmosphere steering currents. But back on the 4th, we had this system merging with our frontal line, which would typically bend it. And you can see what was happening here. There's Bermuda. Back on the 4th, it was actually bending it maybe east of Bermuda because of this frontal line, picking it up, moving on out of here. Look where our high pressure setup was here, right? So frontal line comes in, kind of giving it a way out as this moves this way. So that was a huge difference. That was just a couple days ago. Now we got this. Big difference in the look. We got that. So the upper air pattern is going to change a lot. But this pattern, if that front doesn't come down, we could be looking at a more of a high pressure system blocking and doing a little zigzag. That would be the worst case scenario. That's why everybody, all of Brad Panovich, I watch him. I love him. Ed Petrowski, those guys. Alan up in New York, I follow him. I follow a lot of Mets, and they're all kind of saying the same thing. Just don't stop watching because nobody really knows right now. So, but that has been the trend. Blocking pattern might be more in place, pushing it a little more west than we saw 3 days ago. That's really it. Let me show you another model. Let's go to 15 days ensembles here. And zoom in super duper close. This is 10 days. This is the same model we just showed. Let me get a little closer here. So we go past 10 days and confidence is still there. We don't really see anything. So that is the good news. Good news as far as that. So we're not, if you're in the East Coast U.S. right now, there's zero evidence to worry. Put it to you that way. You're aware, yeah, but this morning it was a one-eye sober alert. Now I'm leaning toward nighttime. We're going to TBBC tonight. It might be a one-eye hangover alert again tonight. So we're not really into that alert worry yet. But for sure, like everybody's saying, East Coast North, Sandy was a Cat 1, and it was bad. Doesn't take a, very big system to cause a lot of problems. So, but anyway, that's good news, right? No big changes today. 12Z actually shifted a little bit back east again. So we saw west, east. What we talked about this morning. Figured that would happen. Windshield wiper effect, right? Euro's been west, east. Yesterday we had a lot more ensembles touching the East Coast. So we'll see what the overnight does. What else can you say than that? Short term, have high confidence, trust the cone. Day 3 accuracy is incredible. This is what they say. Core Lee should pass north of the northern Leeward Islands. However, interest in those islands should still monitor. 3-day error about 90 nautical miles. They said they're on the southern side of the guidance, which means the average might be still a little more north of you in the islands. And they did bump it north from the 11 o'clock advisory. So, I don't know. Confidence is pretty good on track. Let me show you something interesting I found earlier today. So this was on, this is gentleman, his name is Brian Bennett, Weather Brian on Twitter. Here's a graphic that showed model performance for Idalia. Everybody's always asked me which model performed the best, right? Well, look who's last. GFS, imagine that. Track on the HAFS wasn't that great, which we kind of wondered if it was or not. Euro was a little off. But look at the old HAFSB, Canadian, and then this KMA model, which I never really look at. So I've been doing some homework on that this afternoon. I'm going to start looking at the KMA model. It's a Korean model, but it's actually pretty good. I just, you just kind of don't really pay attention to these things. So anyway, that was a great graphic. He went into great detail. Like 4 days before landfall, the KMA was right on it. HAFSB was still second, Canadian third, UK. Remember we talk about the UK being a really good model on tracking. Europe, but look who's last. And I always bring up the fact the Icon is not that good at track. Well, there you go. This verified it. So this is stuff that we kind of learn doing our lives. But I guess the eye-opener for me was the KMA model. I've been talking about the Canadian models been getting a lot better with the track this year. So I've been impressed with the Canadian model. But that was a great graphic. So that leads me to this. There's a website. Let me show you. Right here. It is Albany. I don't know why I haven't looked at it all year. I saw somebody shared it earlier, and I'm like, oh, I forgot all about it. So here it is. University of Albany. Amazing website if you want to track things. What it tells you is this. Your ensemble mean. God, I haven't used this in years. I forgot all about it. Maybe, I don't know why we didn't use it last year. Maybe we did. But GFS, black line is the official track as suspected by the National Hurricane Center. This is letting you know that the GFS ensemble suite is a little north of the 5-day NHC. European. This is even cooler looking, man. Look at all these cool colors. The Euro is a little north of NHC, but then it comes back in line in 5 days. So right on track with the NHC. I love this map. UK is a little farther, a little far south. UK has been a little weaker development. Weaker goes west. But look, I thought that was interesting. The UK model is showing a little bit more west. And this is your 5-day NHC map. 120 means 120 hours out. 5 days. So, interesting for the UK. 5 days out. And the Canadian, it's about the same 5 days. Temporary north, and it's back south again. So, all of them are pretty much in line. I'm not going to worry about intensity right now. Another thing that I like here is this little blend here of, more blending and averages. Brian Tang's his name, by the way, Mr. Brian Tang. But what I liked about this model is this, the error model. This is your, so far, these are the models that have done the best with Lee so far. According to this, the UK, this is on track. The best model to predict, this question I get asked all the time. And this is the most awesomest graphic I've ever seen. It's free. I linked it. I think it's a brilliant graphic. Number one thing people ask is which model is performing the best. Well, this right here is telling you that the least amount of model error in kilometers has been green, which is the UK. The UK. And look who's second. HMON. Go back to this model here. The HMON and UK. 3 days out, look who was 1 and 2 with Idalia. 3 days out. HMON was number 1 tracking. UK Met was number 2 in tracking. So if history repeats itself, I thought this was really fascinating that the UK is number 1 right now, and number 2 is the HMON. Or actually 2 might be a little, I don't know what 2 means actually, but looks like HMON's winning barely. And then your TVCN is your consensus model, usually is what the NHC goes by, but the HMON and UK, there you go. We'll see if it means anything. Last but not least here, this is a really good graphic, the European, and I have this linked on my site too. If you go up here to the very top, what number is it, Shelly? I can't remember. Number 10. So this is my cheat sheet with all my favorite little models. Number 10. This is the European experimental tracking using all kinds of different AI, but it's been accurate. It's a new European way of kind of experimenting things. But anyway, so I haven't linked. But anyway, they put out today that the euro is trending, obviously, towards the East Coast. Not a forecast, just the euro's trend is different than its own euro models. So that's just interesting, I thought. And then we're not worried about Invest 96. It looks like it's just going to go north. Here's the latest models on Invest 96. You remember wherever this is, our system is going to be somewhere here with some sort of a high pressure possibly developing here, steering our system kind of to the north. That was supposed to be an arrow. Didn't do very good. And my mouse is acting weird today. But this is kind of what we saw with Franklin and Idalia. High pressure developed in between Franklin and Idalia, speeding up Idalia northward, accelerating it as that high pressure built in between. So anyway, that's it. Hey, I went over everything. Biggest question tonight is how many beers I'm going to have. HMON, Kelly, it doesn't go out that far. It's only, the problem with these models is they don't go very far. So that's what I'm saying. If you're new to long track tracking, it's painful. HMON is available on tropicaltidbits.com. You hit HMON, hit Lee. They only go out 126 hours. It's like, oh, that's 5 days. So 5 days out is all you get. And it's still going to be going northwest. And there's going to be so much panic. You can bet anything it's going to be Dorian all over again with panic, because people are going to see a Category 4, Category 5 storm, and they're going to see it going towards where most people watch us, and that would be Florida. So you have to trust the models. You have to trust the models. And right at this point, there's nothing to worry about in the southeast. So, but like I showed you, at the end of those 10-day European ensemble maps, a lot can change after 10 days, and that seems like forever from now. So we just have to wait. So anyway, Korean model, let's show it. I don't know where you can get it for free. Weathermodels.com has it, but the Korean model, KMA it's called. Does Levi have it? I don't even know. Does he have it? No. The JMA, that's Japan. Who would have thought Koreans have a weather map that they must have a good weather department. Here it is. All right, so we're going to go to model KMA. What's interesting, I thought, with the KMA, I guess I'll show you, is last night 00C went way south. So, back to this 5-day cone with the NHC. Remember what I was saying earlier? I was really curious why they included that little bubble to the south. Probably because this KMA model, it bubbled a little to the south, as did the UK yesterday. So, that's why they're telling everybody, lower Bahamas, pay attention. And it did actually have it come really close to the East Coast. That's an extreme outlier, but it's worth noting. Now, the newest KMA was a little bit closer to the coast, a little more east, but at least it didn't hit. But it does hit. Oh, that's really faded out. I don't want that Northwest Atlantic. We want tropical Atlantic. But it does hit the Northeast, so it's just one model. But one you got to really, that's why everybody's stressing. Northeast. Timing, let's say if this did play out, it's Saturday the 16th. A long way away. But I almost laughed at, I saw somebody post the model today, and I'm like, what the heck is that? And then I read that gentleman's post on Twitter, and I'm like, oh my God, it did amazing. The KMA for track. So what we learned from Idalia, KMA, HMON, and UK, really good track models. Let's see what the UK went any farther south this run. Let's zoom in a little better here. Let's look at let me zoom in a little better to the region here. Caribbean. All right, Caribbean. All right, here we go. Here is the latest UK. This would be Wednesday morning. This is when the turn's supposed to happen. This is the UK. Wednesday morning. The Euro in the same exact spot. Wednesday morning. A little bit to the east. UK has it smack dab over DR, and the Euro has it smack dab over Puerto Rico. A little slower before the turn. Canadian on Wednesday. Kind of in the middle. So there you go. All right. What did I miss? What's everybody jiving about? Jiving, hand jive. So ABCs. So I told you Sarah she gets confused when we talk about TBBC. She goes TBBABCB. So we're like, we're going to TBABCBBCB. Then she laughs. Hey, I did get this in the mail. I didn't need it, but I don't know why it took so long to get here. I ordered it for our last hurricane chase. And guess what? It didn't get here in time, but I didn't need them. But I'm getting ready. Might be a long trip up there for me. I've never chased a storm on the East Coast, but look. This is for all my lights in my truck. Got my tire fixed today, too. Luckily, it was a teeny wee little hole. And I was able to, I would have never found it on my own, so that was good to get it fixed. I didn't chase Florence, Kelly, no. I went to, first chase was me and Phil went up to Laura. And somebody's worried? Nobody should be worried. Please, no worried. We're talking about a long track storm. If you're worried now, it's going to be a hell of a bad week for you. I'm telling you. Because it's going to be a long week. And there's going to be a lot of emotions. There's going to be a lot of flip-flopping. Hey, Lori Rye. I'll come to Bermuda. I want my truck, though. I got to figure out a way to get my truck there. Is there a ferry? Is there a ferry out of North Carolina? Fred, are you watching? Can you ferry me from Carolina to Bermuda? I will not drive to Canada because that's a long way. Mountain to Sea Ministries. What's up, buddy? Furman. Oh, they did. They fixed a lot of generators for other people. They did amazing. Joe, I haven't even looked at MJO at this point, buddy. We know it's going to be a monster. Hey, Tom, the Tempest did great. The last video, I got down to 964 pressure. I totally forgot about the wind. God, I should have. But I got the pressure. The pressure read 964. That's pretty low. We weren't technically in the eye. The eye was going through an eye wall replacement. So pressures probably went up a little bit. We weren't directly in the eye. We were in the eye wall. I always say we're in the eye. And everybody's like, oh, the eye of a hurricane. It's calm. I'm like, okay, thank you. I know that. I meant to say eye wall. To me, the eye is the worst part of the storm. But it's not technically. But anyway, we got down to 964 pressure. Man, that's pretty low. Vanilla Ice after the Rays on Friday. No, we got to head to Boca. The top of it's gone. A-Bear box. Oh, my God. We don't want to talk about the A-Bear box. I know, right? The A-Bear box is a theory. Right here. I got a link to it. The A-Bear box. The A-Bear box is a theory that major hurricanes, not weak hurricanes. The theory is major hurricanes pass in the blue boxes, end up hitting South Florida. Winds that were 110 plus. Examples include unnamed hurricane 1926, 28, 33. Major hurricanes Donna, Betsy, Charlie, Wilma, Irma all passed through the A-Bear box. Storms that missed Florida landfall were Floyd, Gert, and Dorian. They were heading to Florida, missed the box, turned away. A little bit of hurricane trivia for you. A-Bear. Not Hebert. Sounds like I'm talking about Sherbert ice cream. It's A-Bear. I think the H is silent. A-Bear. BJ and the Bear. Jesse, I'm coming to your town. The system hasn't got close to the box yet, Lauren Becker. But hey, I had to show you anyways, right? What the heck? A-Bear. I like saying it. I you know. At least we didn't have to mess up Lee. Fascinating little tidbit I want to share too is this graphic right here. If you missed the morning show, this is really interesting to me. This tropical tidbits surface anomaly chart, right? And check this out, man. Franklin, among others, churned up the ocean to the point that it brought up a lot of cold water to the surface. And when you have cold water, you have less fuel for hurricanes. And guess what? A lot of our models are showing that once our system turns right now, like around Wednesday, if you're worried about the turn, you got to wait until Wednesday of next week. That means you got to wait Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. But once it makes that turn, hopefully over the blue, if it turns a little later, there's got more warm water we got to worry about. And, that's why the Korean model is showing it not weaken much. If you notice, the Korean model did good on that post, but it kept the pressure down 930, 940 because it went a little more west over these warmer waters, I'm assuming. But cold water, here's Bermuda. That's all from Franklin and Gert and Emily and Jose and whatever else we had. Katie, I don't know where the hell Katie was, whatever. And the other graphic I shared today, everybody didn't know what the hell it was. They're like, what are all them colors? What are you doing to me out there? Well, let me show you. So I have this map here, maximum hurricane index. And this is telling you that if everything worked out to where there was a hurricane in the Atlantic Ocean, the potential pressure that the atmosphere can hold is up here. If you look right here. Yellow and oranges, 960, 950, 940, 970. So that's exactly what the European model's doing. It's showing a weakening system as it goes north. And we won't get the high resolution maps until we get within 5 days. But very fascinating. I never really saw this map in action. But water temperature definitely would be interesting to see if a system does weaken a little bit when it goes over that cold water. And then here's a potential wind map showing H2, H3 maybe once it gets into that water. So that's pretty cool map. And a lot of it's based on water temperature. All right, so we'll do this again in the morning. Not sure what this blob off of Florida is. I've been trying to research it. I really don't know. It's not anything to worry about, I don't think. But I'm not showing any spin or anything. I didn't even look at it. I'm assuming there's no spin. I didn't even look at it. Please don't be any spin. No, there's no spin. It's nothing. This is nothing. Just some sort of frontal line. So don't worry about it if you're worried about that thing in the Gulf. That's it, everybody. Hope I went over some things. Hopefully it's a little wisdom I learned over the years. It's going to be a long week, But hey, the tidbit about the models I thought was fascinating. HMON and UK and the Korean model did really good with Idalia. And looking at the track for Lee currently, UK and HMON are doing the best as far as accuracy on track. Or you just watch a 5-day NHC cone and call it a day. All right, so we'll be back in the morning for sure. Thanks, Shelly, for tuning in. I know Shelly's working hard on getting all our subscriptions out the door. Remember, we encourage everybody to be subscribers in the off season because it always gets hectic during a storm. We'd love to have you support the page year round, but you're not missing any information. Put it to you that way. The Brew Crew is a fun place. We talk. I showed my mums today. I mean, if you're worried about mums, I shared my mom's picture. So you're not getting any weather over there that's not, especially when there's a storm. I might talk about future stuff, but we're beyond future. We're dealing with now. So there's nothing now that I'm not posting on the main pages. So don't worry, everything's on the main pages. And you can follow me on TikTok. I'm about ready to do a little TikTok video. I've got a couple 100,000 followers over there now, and they're quick. And then of course we're on X. X is over 105,000 followers now. Appreciate that. Instagram about 150 or 60,000 now. And of course YouTube, we crossed 50,000. Welcome YouTubers. We're getting there. We're getting close. We're way up there. All right, we'll see you in the morning. Tomorrow's Thursday. We'll be live tomorrow night. And well, hopefully tomorrow night. The girls wanted to do something, but I don't really want to do it. And then Friday morning, maybe Friday night. And then the weekend's going to be rough for me. We got softball, but I'll figure out a way. For sure. So, all right. Have a great day. We're going to Tampa Bay Brewing Company. Drink a little reef. See you.